I'm going to try to shut up here, but please go through this because there's thousands of points here. I have a family. You have a family. It's freaking me out as this freight train comes towards us, and somehow we've got to get the public to wake up and say no. That's the big issue here, is that they're saying like a placebo, go get old flu shots that they admit have no connection to this flu, give you no immunity, and people are already lined up at clinics and panicking for 3-4 months straight, getting all these ridiculous shots. And Dr. Obama says you need to take 3 shots. Now they're saying 4 shots. I mean, soon will it be your morning flu shot? Break that down, doctor.
Well, they're saying that the theory is that in order to develop an adequate immune response, you're supposed to get a vaccine followed up by a second vaccine. So if you have children who are 8 or 9 or 10 years old who have not previously had a flu shot of any kind, the recommendations that are coming out is that they'll get the regular flu shot. 3 weeks later, they'll get their booster on their regular annual flu shot. 3 weeks later, they'll get their swine flu shot. And 3 weeks after that, they'll get their booster of their swine flu shot. And then we'll see how many kids can actually function in school this year, as if it isn't already bad enough. And they're recommending that for kids 6 months of age and older. So, the adults are supposed to get 3 flu shots. They're supposed to get their annual seasonal flu shot, a swine flu, and a swine flu booster. But your kids, if they haven't had a previous one, they're supposed to get 4. I just think, it's almost like there's this concept that all that's in there is a little dead virus and a little sterile water, and so what harm is it going to cause? And a little is good, so a whole lot must be better. And what we're doing is causing a massive amount of problems in children and adults, and everybody needs to just get informed about this. Go to pandemicfluonline.com, go to drtenpenny.com, download the information and pass it out to your family and friends. Take it to your school, let the teachers know it, let the people in your daycare know it, put the principals on notice that you're not going to have that happening to your children in your school system. It's the only way that we're going to be able to stop this from all these vaccines happening in schools this year.
And Doc, that's my next 2 points, is we had big victories in 2002, 2003, when they tried to order the 14 million first responders to take the smallpox shot and said, it's the law, everyone will do it or you'll be fired. Firemen, police, medical workers, nurses, doctors, city workers, county workers, state workers. The majority of them said no, so that program stalled and died. We've had victories before over this, but they've been so successful fear-mongering with the pre-flu hype. They didn't have that with the smallpox. They just used 9/11 saying we just got hit a year ago. We're sure Al-Qaeda's going to use smallpox. People didn't buy that. But people have had the flu and know it really feels bad and know that it can kill you sometimes. So that's why this is so much more effective. That's why this fight is so important. So speak to our only recourse, I guess, is to educate, is to warn people, is to spread the word like our lives depend on it. With the articles at Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, Global Research has done a huge compendium article that's incredibly good. We've got linked up on Infowars.com. So, A, educate everybody. We've got a fighting chance. B, I have the Washington Post buried in an article. Paul Watson's doing a story on it saying, oh, yeah, these flu shots have high levels of mercury. They've lied in the past and said they've taken the mercury out. Another lie. So speak to getting the word out and waking people up. And then the mercury angle.
Well, getting the word out is what I keep telling everybody they have to do. And everybody says, well, I don't know who I should talk to. Talk to everybody. I have a stack of flyers that I carry around with me in my purse and in the back of my car because I take them into everywhere. I say, here, and I've gone down the street by where my office is, and I've stopped with these flyers. It's the truth about the flu shot, and you can get it off of my website, and it's all over the internet. And I don't even engage it with them in conversation. I just walk in and say, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? Here's some information I think you might be an interest in looking at, and turn around and walk out. So you don't have to stand there and debate anybody. And the worst that's going to happen is nothing. They throw it in the trash. But you never know whose hands that might end up in that might really make a difference. your police department, your first responders, your sheriff. All these people need to know that you don't want this, and that they may not even know what's going to be injected into their body. And once they know it, they might say, well, you know what? I don't want this either. And suddenly you've got an entire community that's going to rally around. So when the FEMA trucks come driving down your street and to look for people who haven't been vaccinated, you've got a community that's going to bond together and resist.
Well said. I want you to get into the mercury, but before we do that, expanding on what you're saying, printing up a nice flyer, using your flyer, printing up Prison Planet articles, Global Research articles, whatever. There's a lot of good boil downs out there. Our story about FEMA, the flu, FEMA, martial law, mass graves, that has a nice boil down of facts. People are really interested in the flu right now. They instinctively know something's wrong, something doesn't add up. They are begging for this information. Go to Kinko's or FedExO's or whatever it's called now, and for $100 you could print up 5,000 1 or 2 sheets. For $20 you can print up thousands. Get it out to people, and that's a child, a woman, a man that isn't going to be getting that onset of Parkinson's at 25, that onset of these brain disorders, people getting Alzheimer's at 40 now, all tied to the vaccines. Go ahead.